Hey everyone, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. This is going to be our last video for the term, so this is the last chance I'm going to have to see you guys, and I don't even get to see you guys, just this little camera I'm staring into, and it is little. It's terrible quality, as you can tell, very grainy. You know, I wasn't planning on having a whole term's worth of content to deliver, uh, partly via video, so I might have to do some upgrading, especially if we keep doing distance learning in the new school year, which there's a chance that might happen. Personally, I think there's a relatively high chance. I think it's something that we should do to stay healthy. I don't know whether the district's going to agree, but we'll see. Anyway, this video is about our last assignment. It's a reflection assignment about Othello. I'm just kind of interested in your opinion on the writing that on the reading that we've done, and you've written about it as well, but it's mostly reading. So what'd you think of it? It's considered a classic, one of Shakespeare's best-known plays, has one of his best-known villains. As a matter of fact, Othello has the most lines of any non-titular character in Shakespeare. Iago has more lines than any other character in all of Shakespeare's, like 27 plays, I think. Out of all of his plays, Iago has more lines than any other character who is not named in the title of the play. Pretty crazy. And, you know, it's just a really well-known play by Shakespeare, who's considered one of the best poets in ever, at least in English. One of the best playwrights ever. I don't know if I need to qualify that by the English. I mean, definitely in English, he's considered one of the best. In any language, he's considered one of the best. You know, just in terms of just general writing, if you can, you know, take away poet, playwright, whatever, he's considered one of the best writers in our language, and probably in any language also. He's going to be really high on whatever list people make. So a lot of people think he's just like one of like the Michael Jordan of writing stuff. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You read another play by him. What'd you think? So on this assignment, I'm really just looking for your thoughts, and I know that you're going to be able to express those well. And it's actually how you express your thoughts you're going to be graded on mostly, because you can have your own opinion. Maybe you didn't like it. Maybe you thought it's a waste of time. Like, why do we even read this? It's 400 years old. Hopefully that's not how you feel, but maybe it is. So what you're mostly going to be graded on is how you say that. Not really focused on word choice that much. You know, use professional, normal school, academic language. That's great. But really, I'm looking at our grammar, which has been a little bit less than we could have desired throughout the term. You know, like not italicizing titles, often not capitalizing people's names. Get a lot of assignments where you're doing it on Google Docs and there's that squiggly red line underneath words that tells you it's spelled wrong and you still don't change it. Spelling Iago with an L, L-A-G-O, like, you know, mistakes we shouldn't be making because we should be able to avoid them. Oh, that's fun. So I'm looking for an assignment without those things. That's basically half of what you're going to be graded on. And so if you're one of those students, and there were unfortunately too many of us, who had a lot of those kind of errors, that's going to be a half you really want to pay attention to. The other half is going to be using the sentence parts work that we did throughout this year, especially the first half of the year. I'm going to be looking for sentences that have a variety of clauses and a variety of phrases in them. That doesn't mean they should all have a ton of clauses, a ton of phrases, but that means there should be a mix. So if I have one sentence that's just a one clause sentence, okay, that should be the only one clause sentence I'm really seeing throughout the rest of the writing. We should have two, maybe even a three clause sentence, or maybe a two clause sentence with a couple phrases, or a one clause sentence with lots of phrases in it too. Use your sentence parts notes. and use those as recommendations. Now, I've had the assignment here. I'm going to share it with you, and of course you're going to see it as well on this. By the time this video comes out, it's attached to the same assignment. I'm looking at your grammar and fluency. By fluency, we really mean your syntax, your use of sentences. I give you some brainstorming questions here. If you have thoughts or opinions that are kind of similar to those kinds of questions, you definitely include it. You don't have to mention every single one of these. I think there's like 5 or 6. If you only get to 4 of them, okay, that's fine. But you should be doing a number of them. It's not really about, because you can put whatever ideas you want. You're going to have your own opinions, your own thoughts, your own points of view about the book. So you decide to tell me something a little bit different. Okay, as long as it's kind of in the same kind of zone that all these are, totally fine. I'm really looking for you to be able to talk intelligently with some understanding about this book. And since you're not actually talking, I'm really looking for your writing to come across clearly. And by clearly, I mean not riddled by errors. I go over some of the grammar things that I'm going to be looking for. I'm also going over some of the writing things that I'm going to be looking for in terms of your sentences. And I have some recommendations as to what you should be doing in order to get there, right? Some recommendations up top. This doesn't need to be super long. A short little paragraph. It doesn't need to have quotes, no evidence. I mean, you can include that if you want to, but it's certainly not necessary. This is a kind of a your own opinion paragraph. And because you can see in the assignment prompt part, normally I'm like, don't use first and second person. Don't say the word I. You can't say my opinion or our book. Don't do that. And you shouldn't, except when the prompt asks you to, and this prompt asks us to. When you give your opinion, consider your thoughts. That means you get to share your ideas. You can use first and second person. I felt, I thought, I believe, I think. Hopefully you do all those things, and it's totally okay to put those things in writing for this assignment. Why do we know it's okay now, even though it's not okay most of the time? It's okay now because the prompt uses those words. If it says your opinion, if it says first and second person in the prompt, you get to use first and second person. If there's no first and second in the prompt, don't use first and second person. So that's a good rule of thumb moving forward in the future. Okay, if you have questions, of course, let me know on Student View Synergy. That's going to be the best way. But of course, I'll be checking my Google Docs communication as well. I did just want to go over kind of that assignment and let you know, hey, there are parts of the assignment that give you those recommendations, those resources, and it's going to be, mostly graded, because I'm assuming you guys aren't going to, say anything stupid or not school appropriate in your writing, and so, and it is school appropriate to say you didn't like a reading. That's fine, as long as you say that in a school appropriate way. So I know you guys are going to do all that kind of stuff because you guys are good at that. You know how to be good students in that way. Now I'm looking for you guys to be good students in terms of paying attention to the little things. I don't want to send you off to 11th grade, not capitalizing things correctly. Like, seriously, that's 2nd grade. And we saw way too much of that this term. We saw that throughout the school year too, but I felt like it was increased over this last little bit. And we just kind of need to reinforce, hey, this is important. And this assignment is going to be important. It's going to be a significant part of your grade. It's probably going to be worth about 3 to 4% of your overall grade. So, if you're close on that, minus or plus letter grade, you got a B plus or a B minus, C plus, this can make that difference. So make sure you get it in. It's mostly your opinion. So just give me your thoughts. And then, I really, really recommend doing a couple different drafts of this. Type up your ideas. Then your ideas don't really need to change, but the way you say it should change, both in terms of your grammar and how you do it, and then how you say it using your sentence parts. So, one way you might consider doing it is just looking at those questions, maybe even copying and pasting those questions onto like another document or another part of the document, and just doing like a quick write style. Just taking like 5-10 minutes, pounding out your thoughts to what those answers are, not really doing your normal, not caring about grammar, which we've seen too much of. Do a normal response, and then, that shouldn't take that long, 10, 5, 15 minutes. Then go back, okay, I'm gonna make sure all my spelling is correct. I shouldn't see any red squiggly lines on Google Docs when you're turning it back into me. I'm gonna make sure I italicize the title, Othello. I spell Shakespeare's name correctly. I'm, getting my capitalization correct. All those kinds of, I'm putting periods at the ends of my sentences. The periods come right after the end of the word. There's not that last word, then a space, then the period. Like, that's the kind of stuff we have to deal with when you're turning in your work for a sophomore level class. Not on this assignment. We're not gonna deal with that. So, check for all that kind of silly stuff. And by silly, I mean elementary school level grammar that should be embarrassing that it's an issue if it's an issue for you. And for too many of us, it still is. And then go look at your sentences. I would even recommend doing your sentence marks that we did in the first half of the year. Underlining your independent clauses, finding your dependent clauses with those squiggly lines, putting a box around your phrases, and just looking, hey, are all my sentences the same kind of sentence? Am I mixing it up a little bit? And if they're all the same, okay, can you put a couple together? Use some transitions. Use your phrases as transitions to show that you're going from one idea to the next. Transitions aren't really just about transition words. They're also about using your different sentence parts to help you transition, using the ideas of what you're talking about to make that transition happen. I'll be posting the sentence parts notes as a reminder on here, but you already have all those, so take advantage of them. I'm also going to be posting a transition reminder, but that's kind of a bonus. If you're really kind of desperate for stuff, definitely take a look at that. But you can just use the things we've talked about in class, because I'm not looking for anything new that you haven't heard before. Sometimes that you haven't heard since 3rd grade. Like, come on. So that's what it is. Critical thinking part should be real easy because it's just your thoughts. The getting it right part should be real easy because it's basic stuff. But I do want to make sure you're just taking time to get it right. And the good news is, you do that, you're getting easy points. That's 3 to 4% of your grade that you should be able to just knock out of the park and do really well on. And I'd love to see a little bump on everyone's grade putting in that last assignment. That would just be a great way to finish up the term and get you out going to junior year, whether it's in person or not. I had a good year this year with you guys. You were a great group of kids. I'm really glad that we got to spend some time together. Very nice students. Definitely saw a little bit of growth in our work and our writing and our thinking, which was all really good. And, just in the classroom, you guys were, got along really well and knew what to do, didn't have too many, behavioral things at all, just a nice, mature group of kids. So that was really pleasant for me, even though it ended kind of weird. Hey, that's apparently how the world goes. Staying safe is obviously important, and I hope you guys continue to stay safe over summer. Last thing is I want to give you guys that reminder: read stuff over summer. And of course, that can be articles, especially about things you like, maybe about Corona, what's going on. But it should also be some things that are longer. Read books. They're really important. And do audiobooks if you like audiobooks, but also read without the audiobooks. That's really important for your brain. I mean, your brain is what makes the main thing that makes you who you are. And so grow your brain to become more of yourself. I mean, that's really cool that you have the power to do that and the power to make your own self just a better version of you through reading things that you're interested in. And, I would recommend at least one of those books you read over summer, because you should be reading more than one. I'm thinking like three. At least one of those should be a little bit more challenging. You know, if you're reading Captain Underpants, that's great. That's not what I mean when I say read 3 books over summer. You go read the whole Captain Underpants series, you know, maybe I'll count that as one if you read like 10 of them. So, you know, read stuff that at least one of them should be a little bit more challenging. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go back and reread, you know, stuff you liked before. That's great too. You know, go reread, you know, what kids read these days, Rick Riordan. That's awesome, cool. But it shouldn't all be just rereading Rick Riordan. Some stuff that you're interested in that you like. I went over some of those in the last video, so I'm not gonna, you know, repeat that. Um, but especially since we're still going to be doing physical distancing for most, if not all, the summer, you get a little bit extra time to yourself that you might not otherwise have. Reading is going to be a really good way to, you know, spend that time, grow your brain. You know, you're going to feel better. Like we've all been there where we spent a day like on the computer, on your phone, or on TV, and then like you go to bed, you're like, I did absolutely nothing with my day today. I just became a pile of ooze, and that's my life. And every once in a while, okay, yeah, sure. But no one, you're not going to feel good about yourself if you're doing that day after day after day. So if some of those days you're like, man, I read like 100 pages of my book today, you're going to feel great about yourself. You know, you do that, you get outside, take a walk, maybe get some exercise, you know, get FaceTime with some of your friends, or, you know, whatever video, social media things you guys do, you know, some real life in-person time, not just texting. And then you know, turn into a gooey blob of brain matter oozing out of your ear in front of a video game or TV screen watching Netflix. Hey, that's part of the day too, and that's great. So, you know, definitely get that reading in there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, had a good year. Stop by. I'll be in H9 next year whenever we're in person again, which may not be for quite a while. I mean, new calendar year, maybe? Seems like the closest realistic thing. I don't know. We'll see what the district decides. Whenever they decide it, I'll be in H9. I'll be happy to see you guys. And I hope you guys stay safe and have a great summer. Thanks for a good year, everyone. Bye.